Today on Max Magazine, we're stepping into the world of the equestrian variety. First, we learn about one of the oldest and flashiest breeds in the world. The Newfoundland Ponies have history in this province. And finally, we discover a precious breed that makes the average human feel like a giant. Howdy, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Max Magazine. I'm your host, Brad Drass, and today we dabble in the world of the majestic, powerful, and amazing horse. Oh, I'm excited. Horses are amazing creatures, and today we get to learn a little bit about them right here at the Ride That Horse Equestrian Park. Let me introduce you to Susan. Susan's the owner, proprietor, trainer, Jane of all trades. She wears many hats here at the Ride That Horse Equestrian Park. Hi, Susan.
Hello.
And she's tall today because you're on this beautiful guy. Who is this?
His registered name is Aldert's Dandy Gem.
Is there a shortened version?
Yep, we call him Isaiah.
Isaiah. Do I get to ride him?
Not this one.
Not this one. Okay. But he is gorgeous. How old is Isaiah?
He is 6 this year.
6 years old? And a horse like Isaiah, how old might he get to?
The Friesians live into their late 20s, early 30s.
Oh, so he's a young guy.
Very.
Okay. He is gorgeous and strong, well behaved. Is it fair to say a lot of horses, Susan, have a little bit of Arabian in them?
Most horses do, including this one.
And he's, what type of horse is Isaiah?
He's a Friesian.
A Friesian, okay. And the reason why I ask, Susan, is because it brings us to our first story about one of the oldest breeds in the world. Check out these beauties.
Mr. Friesen, my husband's father, always had to have a really nice looking horse, and in his opinion it was an Arabian. It started off with a family going out to a holiday in Banff in 1964, I believe it was, and they came across the Canadian National Arabian Horse Show in Edmonton, and he just had to go. Well, they never made it to their holiday in Banff. They ended up going to the horse show, and so it was Ed's parents that started the business, and they were known as very well respected as good breeders of the Arabian horse. And they understood, as we do, that the welfare of the breed is very paramount. The Arabian horse is is the only pure breed. Obviously, Arabian comes from Arabia, and that's where the other horses have developed from. Some very good horses, very good quarter horses, very good thoroughbreds, and all the other breeds. They're known for their strength, their endurability. They're very supple horses. Covering the ground is very easy for them. They are different in body and type from other breeds. They have shorter heads with a very large brain case. They actually have larger nostrils and intake, which sounds a little unusual, but it is true. It's just like you have an exhaust in a vehicle. And this allows them to be more durable for long distance. They're very athletic. They have a nice foot on them, a wider foot for their size. This allowed them in Arabia to be used by the sheiks because they can travel across the sand. We use them in very many different divisions. We have Western pleasure, we have English pleasure, we have driving, we have jumping, we have dressage. We even have racing with Arabian horses. They're very sound, very well-made horses. Wunderbar Arabian's name came from a stallion named my Wunderbar, which means my wonderful, and it's a German. My husband's from a German background, and that's where the farm's name came from. But I think the horse that probably gave the farm its name was a horse called Wildwood Kochar. And Mr. Friesen purchased this horse from Alberta. Now this horse was way ahead of its time. I don't think it's ever been repeated ever in history of the Arabian business anywhere in the world, where he achieved English Pleasure Championship, a Park Championship, Halter Champion, daughters and sons that won at the show, and Most Classic. And that's where it all started. We crossed him with our Furzon bred mares, and that basically gave us our foundation mares, and Wonder Bar has developed from there. Right now, today, we have two very well-known stallions, one named Couturier, who is a descendant of Wildwood Coachar. To cross with the Couturier daughters, we had to find a stallion that we feel would cross really well, and we bred a mare named Brooklyn Bay to a stallion named Boscafire, and that is the resulting Mariachi. Mariachi's known for his athletic ability. He's an English horse. He's won the very prestigious Scottsdale class as a 3-year-old. Some of our mares we have to outcross, and we like to outcross to bring new lines in, because if you breed just within yourself, you don't further yourself. So that is a Paris Al-Jamal daughter, a sister to Couturier, bred to a stallion called Denali. And the other foal was out of a Couturier daughter and by Mariachi. He looks very much like his father, and he's got the movement. He's nice and supple in the shoulder, and you can tell already that he has a lot of athletic ability to him. We do go to Scottsdale and compete every February. It's kind of a breeder's cup. It's where one breeder says to the other, I have something better than you do. It's a showcase for the breeders. We can show each other what we have, and we compete against each other. We do very well in Scottsdale. It draws the international market. We have people from all over the world, Australia, China, Japan, Germany, England, Saudi Arabia, they're all there. Usually there's about 2,000 head of horses there competing. We love the horses. We love the enjoyment that it's brought to our family and our children, to help us raise the children. We've met so many great people through the horse industry, more so the Arabian, but all breeds. And there's just some really nice people out there, and it's really nice to share that with them.
Oh, Susan, now that is a cool horse. What kind of horse is that?
That's an Appaloosa.
An Appaloosa. Can I ride the Appaloosa?
Not that one.
Not that one. Who's riding the Appaloosa?
That's our assistant instructor and trainer, Taylor Pearson.
Hi, Taylor. Hi. That's Taylor. So the Appaloosa, the spotted horse, are there Appaloosas that come in a solid color too, or are they all spotted like that?
Nope, the Appaloosa has 5 different coat patterns, but they can also be solid with no color at all.
Very interesting, very cool horse, like the one in our next story. It's called the Newfoundland Pony, which is a Canadian type of horse, has an amazing heritage, and it too comes in some pretty cool colors.
Well, basically, the Newfoundland Pony came from Newfoundland. The history of it is that they were used to work in the forests and mines and anything else, you know, when people used horses. They're a mixture of many kinds of ponies, you know, like the Galloway and the Dartmoor and the Exmoor and the New Forest and several other kinds of ponies. And what happened is after the motorized vehicles came in, the ponies were basically turned loose and let roam around Newfoundland and became wild ponies and interbred and came out with a type of pony all of their own. They're tough. They can winter in Newfoundland, which has pretty harsh winters. They have flint-hard feet, and you don't have to worry about founder with them because their feet are perfect. They became a nuisance eventually. My uncle went to Newfoundland in around 57, I guess it was, the late 50s anyway. And he saw all these ponies running everywhere. And so he ended up bringing 250 of them back to Saskatchewan. And we were lucky enough for my dad to have bought one for us. She was expecting, so we ended up with 2 of the Newfoundland ponies. We proceeded to do just about anything with them. We herded cattle, we gymkhanaed, we jumped them, we swam them, we did just about anything you can do on a pony. And they were honest, and they were gentle, and they were good ponies. When I found out that the Newfoundland pony was endangered, I became interested in trying to get some more to save them, to bring the Newfoundland pony back. And so I went to Ontario, not as far as my uncle, but I went to Ontario and brought back April Beauty here, plus 2 young ones, and she was expecting as well. So now I have 4 ponies, and I'm just training the 2 little boys and using her for a broodmare to try and get the Newfoundland pony back to where it was before, because I have a love for them. I'm just training 2 little geldings at the moment that will make good children's ponies, and plan to be breeding April again. There's Gertrude Maxwell, who lives at Radisson, and she has a lot of these ponies because she too has a great love for them and is trying to save them.
I got involved with the Newfoundland Pony, probably #1 because I'm a horse nut. I absolutely love horses, and I think they're good for the soul. And I grew up in Nova Scotia and had my family come back from trips in the 70s talking about these wild ponies running loose in Newfoundland, because at one point they did roam free. And once we started having children, I decided that I'd help save these animals and start breeding them. What amazes me with every one of them is how good-natured they are and take everything in stride. Most of my animals are trained to ride and drive single and double, and I have animals that have been school horses, and people, whether it be adults or kids that are totally terrified of horses, have learned to have confidence and trust to ride my Newfoundland ponies. They're just very good-natured, level-headed, they don't bolt or spook, and they take everything in stride. So, you know, they're not intimidating in size, because, you know, I have small ones and I have very large ones that range from 11.2 hands high to 14.2 hands high. So I have large and small ones, and I'd say they're the definite all-family equine, because someone 6'2" and big build can ride some of my animals, and they're safe and great for a kid that doesn't have a lot of experience. We often just hop on their back with a halter on or nothing, and we'll ride them around the yard and feel very safe, or out in the field or in the pasture, but we also ride, of course, with saddle and a bridle. They're just therapeutic, I find. I'm an animal lover and love horses, and just to come out and watch the animals play or sit on them or ride them or drive them or do something with the kids with the horses, it's pure joy.
There were 250 ponies brought to Saskatchewan, and so chances are that there are a lot of descendants from those ponies in Saskatchewan. Anytime you find a pony with a good mind and a gentle character and a willingness to work and be a good partner, chances are it's got Newfoundland Pony in it. And I highly recommend people getting on the bandwagon and trying to save this precious little critter.
Doesn't even do anything.
Okay, Susan, I have 2 questions. What kind of breed is this, and can I ride it?
This is a Morgan horse, and Not this one.
No, I can't ride this one either, but he is beautiful. This is your horse, isn't it?
Yes, he is.
Okay, now there's something very interesting about the Morgans that I just learned. We were talking about this a few moments ago. The Morgans have 2 speeds, stop and fast. Is that right?
Well, the saddle seat style Morgans, like the one behind us, do. And then we have family style ones that are really versatile. They can drive, they can be ridden Western, they can go English, they can jump. They're wonderful family horses.
Great family horses. And Susan's favorite.
My favorite.
Your favorite, yeah. And I gotta tell you, what strikes me in my short time here is how big and strong and majestic horses are. Are they all this big?
No, you know, actually, they can get as small as a dog.
Really? Oh, this I gotta see.
I saw a business card ad in the Western Horseman many years ago, had a little white miniature horse on it, and I thought I would just love to have one of those. In 1981, they had their first show in Calgary. There was an article in the Western Producer. So I went to that to look, and that's where I bought my first Mini. And by the end of that year, I had 9. And so we've been raising and showing ever since 1981. They say that in Argentina in the 1600s, they were pets of royalty, and then they were almost extinct. And they used them in the mines years ago for pulling the ore carts. They're very strong. They were a coarser animal. They've been bred down to refinement now. Well, we use them for show. We show at halter and harness, pulling a cart. They want to do what they want to do, and I wouldn't want to wrestle with big horses the way the Minis think that they can get away with everything when you're trying to teach them to halter. The main thing is separating them from their buddies, because when you have a group of yearlings and want to do anything with them that haven't been touched, they're just, well, they're crazy, wild. But as soon as you get one by itself, it's just, you put the halter on it and she comes along really good.
Hi, girls.
Yeah, it's basically just feeding in morning and evening, and then during the day there's grooming and always feet to trim. When you've got that many horses, you're always trimming feet. No foot, no horse. So, you know, their feet grow fairly fast. So I like to keep them trimmed every 8 weeks or so. We also use them for pet therapy. They go into the seniors' homes. A lot of the seniors had horses for farming, and when you bring a Mini into the seniors' home, they're just amazed. And of course, their love of horses is still a horse is a horse, and they love the little ones. We've sold them to people that the kids are scared of the big horses, and they just love the little ones. There's no fear. Like at the Stampede, when we're showing at Stampede, there's hardly room to walk. There's so many kids and families around that wanting to look at the miniatures that you have trouble finding a place to walk. Are you my baby? Are you my baby? Are you my baby? There's some that I say, this is not for sale. Well, it has happened that I've been away and come home and my favorite one is gone because somebody come along and bought it while I was away. There's the odd one here that I wouldn't want to sell now too, but I guess if somebody wanted them bad enough, that the favorite ones are always a little more money. It's a very relaxing, fun business. Get around the horses and nothing else matters.
Look at me. Susan's finally got me on a horse, and not just any horse, a Canadian horse. His name is Miles. Well, that's the short version, right, Susan?
Yep, that's his barn name, but his real name is Brillsine. Frontier Travel Miles.
Yeah, and I feel so patriotic because that's what this breed is known as, a Canadian horse. So what is a Canadian horse?
Well, the Canadian horse is Canada's national horse. There's only 7,000 of them registered in North America.
Okay, now this is a beautiful guy, but I have a question for you. Now that I've got the bug, now that I'm actually riding a horse, if I want to take lessons, do I need to own a horse to take lessons here at the Ride That Horse Equestrian Park?
No, we have over 15 lesson horses available, everything from beginners to larger, more competitive hunter jumpers.
Okay, now if I want more information, Susan, you got a website?
Yep, www.ridethatHorse.com.
Want to get actively involved? You can submit your own videos to Local On Demand. If it's relevant to your community, we'd like to air it. You just need to find our guidelines for content, quality, and production on the SaskTel website under the Personal category in the Entertainment Services section. Or just send us your program idea. If it's chosen, we'll shoot it and air it on Local On Demand. Email us at max.localondemand@sasktel.sk.ca or send a letter to the address on the screen. We'd love to hear from you.